Hello, YouTube, and welcome to the Real Siberius live stream. I was actually supposed to do a live at 4 p.m. today, and some shit came up, so I couldn't. So I didn't want to not do it when I said I was going to. But I just wanted to talk a little bit about trying to put in work. I now have over 200 videos on my channel, and I have certainly noticed that as I have started to try harder, um, I've been getting more success. I just made a video a week ago, about 400 subscribers, and I'm already at 550. Like, this shit's going fast. And I just hope that I'm making quality content that can keep it going. So, hopefully, some of you can check in. I know a lot of you probably just got off the live stream with AOH and Sports and Fitness Rants. I know I did, but hopefully some of you guys can stop in and say hello. You know, it's funny when, before I started this channel, I had a lot of preconceived notions about what being a content creator was. I mean, I'm not going to lie, as I'm Gen X and I'm older, I thought the idea of being a content creator was stupid. And I thought it was something that people that didn't want to work did. And yeah, a lot of my illusions about being a content creator have been shattered. And they've been shattered because it's a lot fucking harder than I thought it was going to be. For some reason, I was under the misguided illusion that because I was known by reputation on a few other channels, because I had a reputation for leaving comments and people would comment on my comments. And, I would touch base on AOH's and sports and fitness rants lives. That when I started my channel, all of the people that knew me there would just immediately flood my channel. And it would be an immediate success. And that wasn't the case. And I certainly don't blame anyone. I'm not saying that everyone should have came over and joined my channel. In fact, I'm glad it didn't work that way. Because probably for the first month and a half, 2 months, I was I was making my videos for like 12 people. And that was fine. I mean, I needed to learn to do a lot. I mean, I go back and I watch my early videos. I didn't have an intro. I didn't have any visual elements added to any of my content. It was just me talking over uh my logo in the background. And somehow people still became interested. Lynetta, how's it going? I said, I don't know if you saw earlier that I had posted I was going to do a live and then I had to bail on it. So I felt bad and I didn't want to not do what I said I was going to do. But I hope you're doing well. Anthony Sanchez, what's up? I'm glad a few of you are being able to stop in and say hello. I was just talking about the reality of having a YouTube channel. Rap God, what's going on? And that it's a lot different than I thought it was going to be. I made a lot of assumptions. Most of them were wrong. In fact, almost all of them were wrong. And I always say in my day-to-day life that life has an incredible way of working out the way that it's supposed to. And this YouTube channel has been another shining example of that, because I think it's important when you start something to suck. I think it's very important. It teaches you humility. Uh, it teaches you perseverance. Because when I started, I was making videos for no one. I mean, I genuinely, for the first few weeks, I would make a video and it would have 0 views with 0 comments and 0 likes. And we're talking 2 weeks after I had posted it. It was literally being seen by no one. And while it was difficult in those moments to experience that and thinking, "Oh, wow, why the hell am I doing this if no one is even seeing it?" But it was good that it happened that way because it made me commit to myself, and that if I persevered, if I stayed with it, that it could turn into something. And I'm not gonna lie, I didn't think that it would turn into this. I mean, I haven't even been doing this for a year, and in the last 30 days, I've gained over 300 subscribers in less than a fucking month. That blows my fucking mind. I literally can't even comprehend that. But it goes to show you get out of things what you put into them. And when I first started, I was kind of dipping my toes in the water. I was fucking around with it, doing it half-assed. And so I was getting a half-assed response. And it's not to say that my first videos didn't have any redeeming qualities to them, but I wasn't putting in a ton of effort. And ever since, well, really ever since I moved and am now in my own house with my own setup, set up the way that I want, I felt more inspired to do it. I felt more motivated to do it. Um, but I've had to learn a lot. I had never used an editing program or OBS in my entire life before starting this channel. I had never had to create a thumbnail or any of that, or create a logo for a channel. All of that shit was brand new to me. Chase 1738, what's going on? I'm glad you guys are tapping in. It makes me feel good. Like I said, I know that I saw a lot of you on AOH's and Sports and Fitness Rants Live. It's always nice. It's always nice seeing you guys. Vincent, what's going on? You know, I'm incredibly glad that I kept going with this, and I certainly have no intention of stopping now. Um, but even when it was hard, I genuinely believe hardship is good for you. If I had not endured all of the adversity in my life, I wouldn't be the person that I am. And fuck that, I like the person that I am. But I think struggling is good for you. I appreciate that, Chase. You know, when I started this channel, I had 2 goals. I wanted to be respected amongst my peers, which I have accomplished. I mean, I have off YouTube relationships with a number of the channels that I have the utmost respect for. And I wanted to be asked to be on a live. Those were my 2 goals. That was it. When I started this channel, I didn't have a subscriber goal. I didn't have a money goal. I didn't have a success goal. Those were the 2 things that I wanted to accomplish. And Woodage, what's going on? Yoloso, what's going on? I appreciate you guys checking in. John Freeman, what's going on? It has been an incredibly interesting experience. It's been a life altering experience. And you know what's funny? This channel has actually pissed me off a little bit, not at you guys in any way, not even at YouTube, at myself, because this is probably the first thing really in my life that I started completely on my own, have done completely on my own, and that it's becoming a success. And it's making me realize, had I put this same amount of effort into other things in my life, I probably could have been successful there too. The reality is, I was just too big of a pussy to do it. So Geloso says, I want to hear your take on LeBron making the excuse for ducking the Thunder. Well, I mean, I think you predicted it around the same time that I did. As soon as Luka and Reeves were out, I mean, the clock was ticking until he was going to make some bullshit excuse about why he can't play. And the reality is, it's because he's a coward. He will not accept failure ever. Rap God Reloaded asks, you ever watch Chuck Norris? Man, I watched all of Chuck Norris, from Missing in Action to Delta Force. Uh, it's fucked because I can't remember which Bruce Lee movie Chuck Norris was in. Was it Game of Death? No, I don't think it was Game of Death. Shit, I can't remember. But I love it. PMR Hoops, what's going on? I always want to call you McZuggins, but I need to get that out of my head. Oh yeah, Texas Ranger. I was going to say that that was a good show too. I was a huge fan of Chuck Norris, and I was hurt when he died. I mean, he lived a good life. Return of the Dragon, that was it. But I was a big fan of his. He was an actual legit martial artist, not some bullshit one. I mean, obviously, he did a lot of movie and TV martial arts, which isn't the same as actual martial arts, but he was an actual martial artist. And yeah, I had the utmost respect for him. I was bummed out when I found out that he died, but I feel like he lived a good life. I think he was probably pretty happy with what he accomplished in his life before he died. So I don't feel too sad. It's when people didn't live their life. I imagine that's hard. So yeah, PMR Hoop said he's getting used to his new name also. I've contemplated, because I've been Siberius. That has been my online handle for over a decade, probably close to 2 decades. But when I was creating this YouTube channel, my name was just going to be Siberius, and then I was just going to change, like, the channel would have a different name and my name would just be Siberius. But Siberius was taken. And that's the first time that had ever happened to me. So I was pretty disappointed. But now, I mean, this is what I'm known as. It's what I'm known as across multiple channels, literally hundreds of people now, if not more. I don't really feel like I can change it now. And I mean, now I guess I don't really want to, but I had thought about it when the channel was, still new and didn't really have a viewership. Man, that's got to be an adjustment because I've known you as McZuggins for, I mean, at least over a year. It's certainly what I think about. You know, what cracks me up is how many large channels have tuned into my lives, have commented on my videos, and yeah, it's one of those things that has made me think, and this is different. This isn't what I expected. I've always loved Siberius. I kind of came up with it because I'm a big tech guy. I really like building computers, and I wanted, I don't know, something that kind of explained what I did, but I also wanted it to be in like an online handle. So I've always enjoyed it. Rap God Loaded said you and self researched have similar minds. Rap God, are you talking about me? Because I think Jim has a very different mind than me. Sometimes I'm an unhinged fuck, and I don't necessarily know if I'm everyone's cup of tea. I can't even say it's my brain injury that created this because I was this long before my brain ever got hurt. I'm just the type of person that I'm going to say what I say. I'm going to stand behind what I say. JXY, what's going on? Joe also said, did you hear what LeBron said about Memphis? That he would never play for Memphis. I didn't necessarily hear what he said, but somebody made a video. It may have even been you that made a video about what John Morant thought about that. The only thing I wish John Morant would have said is, I wouldn't want your bitch ass on the Grizzlies, so I don't care what you think. PMR Hoop said, yeah, I just wanted a separate channel from my personal account. Sorry for any confusion. I completely understand that. Thankfully, I have an entirely different channel for just my own personal stuff. Um, I like it that way. I certainly like to keep it separate. So yeah, I have, the real Siberius at Gmail for this. So, people don't have to email my real email address. And not that I would really give a fuck if they did. Excuse me. But I certainly I don't want fanboys sending me fucking emails. I mean, typically they don't have the balls to do that kind of shit because they're cowards, just like their king. But I don't want to hear it. That's really what it comes down to. Rap God Reloaded said, I know about Siberius because of Uncommon Sense. I have to imagine that's where most people learned who the fuck I was because I've been commenting on his videos for years. And that's certainly where my name got the most exposure, just from his, what fans think about LeBron videos and all of my comments on there. Joe also said a video recently resurfaced of LeBron even talking bad about Cleveland and the city where he's from. He's disgusting. He really is disgusting. I mean, in fairness, so is Cleveland. And if you're from Cleveland, I apologize, but it doesn't change the fact that it's not a great place. I understand I'm from a city that is also not a great place, but I still like it. So I can understand even, people standing up for their city, but I went to Cleveland once in my life. If it's up to me, I'll never go back. It's not a great place. K1738 said we need to stop comparing LeBron fans to babies. Babies don't even cry that much. They don't. They certainly don't cry that hard. JXY said he's the kid from Akron when it's beneficial and can boost his brand. Fake ass. He is a fake ass. That's literally all that he is. Armando Ruiz says, who's going to be the first ex-teammate of note to expose LeBron after he retires? I'm sure he's secretly hated amongst the NBA community. I can guarantee that. Once he's gone and kind of out of the limelight, which he won't be for long because he just refuses to shut up. But there's going to be a lot of people that have a lot of dark shit to say about him, without question. I think the Lakers will be the first team. I would say hopefully he is gone from the Lakers after this season. But once he's gone, I think all kind of shit is going to come out about him on the Lakers. Without question. Rap Guy Reloaded said high school girls are more mature than LeBron. That's also sadly probably true. I apologize if you guys can hear this cough drop in my mouth, but if I do not have it, I cannot stop coughing. I just have this dryness in my throat that will not go away. I am not sick in any way, but I cannot stop coughing if I don't have a cough drop in my mouth. So if you can hear it rattling around, I apologize. But I just have to imagine it sounds better than me coughing in your fucking ear. But it's all right. I'll take it out of mine. So PMR Hoops, when can we expect your first video? I'm not going to lie, dude. I'm going to keep riding your ass about it because I want to see it. And also, I think sometimes people need to be ridden to do their best work. So I apologize, but I'm not going to shut up about it. So Vincent Garcia said, do you think the Pippen hatred for Jordan has always been there, or after Jordan's kid dropped a triple-double on his ex-wife? I mean, I certainly don't think the latter part helped, but I think Pippen, even after Jordan toughened him up, he was still weak. You can't change who you are. That's just the reality of it. And so Pippen has always been soft and always been fragile. And his entire career, he was seeking validation. He wanted validation from Jordan. He wanted validation from the league. He wanted validation from the fans. He wanted everybody to kiss his ass. And that was never going to happen. I'm not going to take anything away from Pippen as far as his game was concerned. He was a solid number 2. I'm not going to say if you replace him with someone else, a player equal of his caliber, I still think Jordan wins 6 rings. You remove Jordan from that equation, that same thing isn't happening. But I think you could swap out Pippen with 12, 15 other guys, and the result is still going to be the same. Because even if they were lesser guys, like Pippen was when he came into the league, Jordan's going to be on your ass until you step up your game. Period. He's not going to let it go. He'll either make you better or he'll drive you off the team. And people can, say whatever the fuck they want to about that. That's how you make people better. So JXY said, Siberius, did you check out the video of LeBron getting dunked on at his basketball camp? He had Nike get rid of the footage, but people still had it on their phones. I have actually not seen that. If I can find it, or if you can send it to me, like you did that other snippet, I will absolutely check it out. And if I can find the video, 100 fucking percent, I'm making a video. PMR Hoop said, hoping by next week, been getting the hang of Resolve this last week. First few scripts done. Next is audio. Wife making graphics, put it together and sending it. I can't wait, man. That's the only reason why I'm going to ride your ass about it, because I'm excited to see it. I think it's going to be great content that this community needs, and I'm looking forward to it. JXY said, I think I sent it to you. If you did, I apologize. I will check my email and find it and get it done. Pirmo said, appreciated, purely technical learning, no motivation issues. Oh, no, I don't doubt that at all. And believe me, I understand the technical learning. I didn't know how to do any of this shit when I first started. I had to learn OBS. I had to learn Filmora is the film editing software I use, but I had to learn that. I had to learn all of it. And when I first started out, I mean, it wasn't very good. I mean, it did the job, but it didn't do it well. I also have, I think this is my 5th microphone, and this is finally the microphone that I'm sticking with. JXY said, I'll make sure I'm going to send it again tonight. It's on YouTube for everyone that want to see as well. I definitely want to see it. So yeah, if you can resend it again, I would appreciate it, because I'm not going to lie. Sometimes my brain doesn't remember things. So if it's new in my inbox, I can't ignore it. So I really would appreciate that. It's interesting because when I very first started the YouTube channel, like it was, in reality, I started it for something to do. After I had lost my job after my accident and fucked up my marriage, I didn't really have anything to occupy my time. And I'm absolutely the type of person that works better off of structure. I like having to get up at a certain time, do things at a certain time. I'm good at holding myself accountable, but I needed things to hold myself accountable to. But the more I've done it, the more that I've learned, and I've really had to learn things, not only about like the technical aspects of running a fucking YouTube channel, like especially doing it all on your own, but also content. I mean, I'm 200 plus videos in now, which also blows my fucking mind. But you got to come up with new shit to talk about every day. And those of you that also have channels will know that's not always easy. There are times where I wake up in the morning and I'm like, I don't know what to talk about. And then I start doing research and I'm like, I don't want to talk about any of this shit, because it feels like I'm just preaching to the choir and they've already heard this sermon. And I'm like, I don't want to make boring shit. I want to make interesting, introspective, unique comments, and especially content that can demonstrate whatever uniqueness I have for my channel, I hold myself to an incredibly high standard. And I want to make sure that I'm creating content that reflects that. Because if I'm just half-assing it, then people should start unsubscribing. Rap God Reloaded says, I like that you talk about different topics, sports, fitness, trends, be talking about LeBron too much. You know, I used to hold that against people, but the reality is it's content that writes itself and it's available every day. Like, I'm gonna have a hard time not making a video tomorrow about LeBron not playing and the Lakers probably getting their asses kicked. It's just right there. It's just easy, and I mean the reality is it's low-hanging fruit. And I will absolutely pick low-hanging fruit sometimes, but I don't want to go to it every single day. I don't want people to get bored. And the reality is I get bored making fucking LeBron content all the time. I want to talk about other things. What's a little bit difficult for me is I don't give a shit about the game. Like, I don't care about the modern NBA. So I can't sit and watch it and discuss it because I don't care. Excuse me. So I have to find other avenues. I mean, if I'm being 100% honest, if I could make a channel about only what I wanted to talk about, it would be more focused on my life videos. The problem with that is nobody wants to watch that shit. Even as my channel has grown, there's still my videos that get the least amount of views. And what sucks about it is it's the content I enjoy most. But if you're not making content that people want to watch, is there a fucking point in making content? So I have to make videos that people want to see. Because otherwise I would just make videos about fucking life and overcoming adversity and struggle and motivation and discipline and pushing yourself. And like, I would love to do that, but no one gives a fuck. And I get it. Like, the reality is I don't want to feel like somebody's lecturing me or constantly calling me out or challenging me. Shit gets old after a while. Rap God Reloaded said you can do it like self-research who only talks about NBA history. That's true. Excuse me. My reluctance to do that is I'm never going to do it as well as Jim or Wilt Chamberlain Archive. If I tried to navigate towards their type of content, I'm just going to be overshadowed because the reality is they do it better than I can do it. And that's not self-deprecation, that's self-awareness. Like, their ability to break down data, especially Jim, to break down data and statistically analyze it and then present that data in an interesting way. I don't have that skill. And I'm okay with that. I don't necessarily plan on changing my content. The reality is people seem to be really fucking engaging and they seem to be enjoying it. I mean, every single day I seem to be gaining 20, 30 subscribers, which is fucking mind blowing to me. So I'm absolutely of the mindset of if it's not broke, don't fix it. And what I'm doing seems to be working. So I'm not going to fuck with it. I'm going to stay the course and keep doing what I'm doing because it seems to be doing the job. And I like the level of engagement that I have. One thing that I didn't quite realize is when I very first started the channel, it was my intention to respond to every single comment, except for fanboys. I just delete those fucks. But every other comment I was going to respond to. It's getting to the point now, even at, just over 550 subscribers, that's becoming more difficult to do. So if you comment on my video and I don't respond to it, it's not because I don't want to. It's not because I don't care. It's sadly because it's getting lost in comments. Or sometimes I think I responded to it because I get the notification. I typically check it immediately. And most of the time I'll respond right then, at least with, with a thumbs up and a heart, unless I think it's stupid. And then most of the time I won't respond to it at all. And then if it is a fanboy, I'm going to snip that comment and then delete it. JXY, thank you for sending that link. I also did get your email. So I will check that out and I will make a video on it. But yeah, it's crazy that this is growing faster than I can keep up with. My brother is currently out of town on a road trip. And the last time he had checked, my subscribers, I think I was at 423. And then I was talking to him today and it's over 550. It felt like that was in fucking 2 days. I'm like, wait, what? Joe also said, I'm going to start doing videos called the NBA Crying Edition. I'm working on the videos now. I'll be watching them, man. And there's a lot of crying in the NBA. So yeah, that's content that that won't stop. Because they just can't help themselves. JMR Hoops, absolutely feel free to promote your shit on my channel. As soon as your channel is up, I will be promoting it every single day in my videos. Unless you specifically tell me not to, I will be promoting it in every single one of my videos. And I would be a complete hypocrite if I told you not to promote your channel on my channel, because I did it on AOH's channel. I did it on Sports and Fitness Rants channel. I did it on Uncommon Sense channel. I've done it on almost every one of the channels that I go to. And yeah, I'm not going to stop anybody from doing that. Well, that's actually not true. There are a few people that have suggested their channel to me in chats, especially as I've become more popular, and I checked out their channel. I did not subscribe, I did not like, and I do not watch their content. I'm not going to name names because I would find that incredibly disrespectful, but there are content creators that should not have channels. Peter Bar Hoop said, haha, nah, man, I'm here because I dig it. I absolutely appreciate that you dig my comments or dig my videos, but definitely don't feel like you can't, shout yourself out. Or, I mean, well, you don't even need to worry about it because as soon as you have videos, I'll be doing it for you. JXY said, Cap Attack. Man, you know what disappoints me? I think I actually found Scap Attack before I found AOH and Sports and Fitness Rants. I used to really like his content. I was going to say, whenever he was shitting on LeBron or, talking about Kobe or, talking about basketball in general, I typically agreed with most of his takes. It was when he started going on the whole Jokic kick and basically becoming a fucking LeBron fan. But for Jokic, I was like, okay, I'm not nearly as interested in this anymore. And now he's just unhinged. Like, I'm not even subscribed to his channel anymore. I have seen a few of his, excuse me, his other newer videos that aren't related to Jokic. I still agree with him. I still think he makes good content. I just think he's become unhinged with the Jokic shit, and I don't want to hear it. I guess my biggest problem with it, and this is a problem that I have with any modern era player, if you're great in this modern era, the harsh reality is I don't give a shit. This is a soft ass, weak ass era. And if you're great in it, that means you're great in a soft, weak ass era. I don't care. Pierre Mara Hoop said, not going to lie, don't have a witty reply for that. Kind of speechless and truly grateful. Cheers. Let me know if I can ever be any help. I will absolutely let you know. But the reality is, man, I want to champion people here. And I'm going to try to talk about this without getting emotional, but if I do, fuck it. I don't care. I don't hide who I am. People have done it for me. When I was very first starting out and had almost no subscribers, Uncommon Sense is the person that inspired me to create this channel based off of his content, his demeanor, his personality. I was like, I think I can do that. And I asked him in one of his videos, based off of all of my comments that you read over this time, do you think I could form a channel? And I was like, and don't pander to me. I was like, I'm not a fucking delicate snowflake. If you think, I don't have what it takes, say it. I was like, it's not going to hurt my feelings. If anything, it'll just inspire me more. But he was very encouraging. And he even offered to, make my intro for me, which he did. And I definitely think that took my channel to another level when I had an intro, especially an intro of that quality. I was going to say, to have AOH comment on my videos, like my videos, share my videos, Sports and Fitness Rants doing the same thing. I'm not even going to do it out of obligation. I would only do it for somebody that I respect. And given that you and I have been on multiple lives with Angry Old Hoops and Sports and Fitness Rants, and I've seen your comments, we've had numerous interactions on their lives, and hearing your takes, there's no way I'm not going to promote that shit. I want to be a champion for others. I want to inspire them and say, if I can do it, fuck that, dude. Anybody can do it. The reality is anybody can't do it. That's a lie that a lot of people say. There's plenty of people like, I will never mention names. I will never ever mention specific names. But a number of people have asked me to watch their videos on their channel, and I couldn't even watch it for 10 seconds before I was like, nope, abso-fucking-lutely not going to watch that. And I would hope people would do the exact same thing to me. Maybe you don't like my voice. Maybe you don't like that I talk about my fucking brain injuries all the time. Maybe I swear too much. I don't care. I get it. Not every channel's for everyone. Everybody has their own taste. Everybody has their own preferences. I absolutely understand that I am probably too bold too brash and too crass for a lot of listeners. I can see on the analytics on my channel, like the age of most of my viewers, and even people in my age group, they're not the highest number of my viewers. Because I'm sure that they listen to me and they're like, Jesus Christ, this 50-year-old fuck can't stop swearing and he can't stop talking about his brain. So Vince Garcia says, cussing, you mean sentence enhancers? That's exactly how I look at it. If you don't swear, you are grossly limiting your vocabulary. There are hundreds of words that you cannot use in your vernacular. And I'm sorry, that's just limiting yourself. I'm also a firm believer in, if words offend you, man, you should lock yourself in a cave and stay inside, because it gets a lot worse than words out in the world. Jill also said, I'm bold as hell in my videos, and I know a lot of people don't like it. I love it. That's part of the reason why I watch your content, is because you don't give a fuck and I don't give a fuck. And I appreciate people that don't give a fuck. I'm going to make the content that I want to make in the way that I want to make it. And there will either be people that like my content or they won't. And if they don't, you're not going to hurt my feelings. I will never, ever begrudge anyone for doing it. But in my videos, I don't ask people to fucking like, subscribe, share, any of that shit. Because if you want to, you will. And if you don't want to, me asking isn't going to make you. So I don't find a point in it. I've always been the type of caliber of person, I don't want to ask for things. Like, I'm never going to ask to be on one of AOH's or Sports and Fitness Rant's lives. If they ask me, I'm always happy to join. I'm never going to ask. I'm not going to ask to join somebody's channel and be a part of their content. I can't do that. I will be honored if they ask me, and I will always say yes if I'm capable of saying yes. I can't do it. I don't want to ask people to like my videos. You either like it or you don't. I don't want to ask people to subscribe. You either will or you won't. Peter Bar Hoop said, well, shit, no pressure. Thank you. Hope my stuff will live up to that. It already has, man, because I already know how you present it. I already know your ability to articulate the information that you're trying to get across. I mean, I don't know you from Adam, but I think I'm an excellent judge of character. I have been throughout my entire life. And just from our few interactions, I already know your channel is going to be successful. I hope that doesn't put added pressure on you and takes pressure off. Pirmo Hoop said, and the lives have definitely been fun. I agree. I think they have been a lot of fun. I would like to, and I will actually say this to you here, PMR Hoops. Once your channel is up, if you would like to do a live together, I think that'd be great. I have to be honest, I'm a little bit uncomfortable inviting people onto my lives that I don't know and I haven't had any interactions with. And there's one reason for that. I'm not just a bold motherfucker in my videos. I'm a bold, honest motherfucker in every moment of my life. And there's no way that I would be able to say to somebody, or that I wouldn't be able to say to somebody if they joined my live and I think they're fucking it up, or I don't like talking to them, I'm just going to drop their ass. And I don't want to make people feel uncomfortable. I certainly don't want to make people feel bad, but I would hold that same expectation for myself. If I were to join AOH and Sports and Fitness Rants Live, and I'm talking stupid fucking nonsense that's irrelevant to the topic, or just talking because I enjoy the sound of my own voice, I would hope they would kick me off. I either need to bring something to the table or I shouldn't be there. PMR Hoop said, adds good pressure out to deliver for you. And that line right there is why I have complete faith in you. Because I know that you will hold yourself to a standard and that no one will be a harsher critic of you than you, just like myself. Nobody could say anything about my videos or my content or me that I haven't already said to myself. I'm going to be a way harsher critic than anyone else ever could be. My other fear with having people on the channel, I'm still not great at live streams. I mean, I like to think, interacting with you guys is entertaining and hopefully keeps you here. I'm not good at leading it down a path. I just say, fuck it. Especially because with my lives, I want it to be constant interaction. There's a lot of the times on AOH's stream or Sports and Fitness Rant stream, they have an agenda. They have things that they want to accomplish that they want to talk about, which is great. I have absolutely no problem with that. But the chat doesn't really get a whole lot of interaction with them unless you're super chatting. Most of the time they don't see your comments, and it's not because they don't give a fuck. I know that they read some of them. But I learned from being on lives, unless you're specifically focusing on the chat going on, it's almost impossible to keep up on it, especially if you have an agenda, if you have things that you're trying to talk about, because then you're not looking at the chat. You're focusing on your talking points. So sometimes it's hard. That's one thing that I hope a lot of people understand is if you think that the people on the live streams are ignoring you, excuse me, or don't care, that's absolutely not the case. It's when you're doing it, your attention is just elsewhere. So it's easy to forget that there are all of these people having these conversations on the side, and you can't really focus on it because then it will derail what you're trying to do. My purpose with my lives is to just focus on what's going on the chat. If people have questions, let's talk about it. If they have comments, let's talk about it. I just wanted it to be more open and free access to me, because you guys are, well, I mean, maybe not forced, but subjected to my nonsense and rants in my videos every single day. I don't get a lot of interactions with you guys other than in the comment section. PMR Hoop said, guessing that gets harder with more people. It does. And I mean, like, I only have 9 people watching right now, which is great. But, AOH and them, sometimes they'll have 300. I imagine if I ever get to that point where I have 300 people in the chat, I probably won't be able to do this at this level anymore. Like I said, even with just the comments on my videos, it went from maybe one or two comments on each video to now I've had videos with hundreds of comments. It's easy when it's two or three, but when it gets into hundreds, I'm like, I can't give personal attention to every single comment anymore. I wish I could. Part of it is my brain can't fucking handle that. And it just gets lost in the mess. So Vince Garcia, one thing AOH used to do was let people join in when they would go live. I don't know why they stopped that. Maybe I missed a show where it went horribly wrong. I don't necessarily know if it went horribly wrong, but there were some incredibly cringy callers. And sometimes, like, as the host, you can kick them off, but excuse me, I don't think they really like to do that. And sometimes they would just ramble on, or they would say exactly what the other person that had called in just fucking said. So it's like, we don't need somebody to just parrot what has already been said. Like, do you have your own unique opinion? Like, is your comment when you're calling in to just say, yeah, LeBron sucks? Well, great. We already know that. Offer some insight, offer some personal perspective or point of view. If you're just parroting back what other people have said, who cares? So Jake Swy said that's why mods are important for lives. They help the live stream chat if bots and trolls start BS. Are you talking about Michael Jordan fans are the best? I kind of miss Michael Jordan fans are the best. I know. See, that's the thing with my fucking brain. I can, what's his name? Dart. I know Dart has a new channel. I cannot remember what it was, or what it is. But no, there was a time, I mean, it was quite a while ago that they would just, Angry Old Hoops and Sports and Fitness Rants would just allow callers to call in. I mean, I don't know if you watched their live streams when Speam Engine was on their lives all the time. But there were times that I would just have to mute people. So Rap God Reloaded said his channel got deleted. I know that he has a new channel. I just can't remember what it is. Because the reality is, a lot of the time, they're debating something that I don't think is up for debate. So I think one of the last ones that he did on his channel was, I can't remember. It was Tim Duncan versus someone else. And I'm like, well, Tim Duncan is obviously the fucking better player and has had a better career. So the reality is, I don't care what the other person's debate is. Unless you're on the side of Tim Duncan, I don't give a fuck what you have to say, because I already know the answer to this question. Vince Garcia said the back and forth between Speam and AOH is hilarious. I agree. I was going to say it was always borderline inappropriate, and I'm always up for borderline inappropriate. PMR Hoop said, Speam for real, we need more Speam. So I sent Speam a microphone not that long ago. And he said that I think he was getting a new laptop or something along those lines. And then he had some ideas for some videos that he's working on. And I sent him some content. He wanted to use some of my LeBron shoe ideas. So I sent him a bunch of them. And yeah, I think he's just waiting to get all of his gear sorted out. And then he should be back. I'm hoping so anyway. I'll shoot him an email because I'm curious about this content that he's working on. and I'll see if I can figure out when he plans on being back. JXY said those lives with AOH Sports and Fitness rants, Darth, were classic. I hate that they got rid of his channel. So do I, man. I was gonna say he had some incredibly good content, and I don't know the details of why his channel was removed, but it's something I kind of wish I was privy to, because I have to be pushing some boundaries with YouTube and their guidelines, and I don't want my channel to get deleted. So I kind of wish I was more privy to that information as to why it was deleted, but I don't know. Rab Got Reloaded said Rex used to be on Dart Channel all the time. He was. I think he's on his new channel. Give me just a second, guys. I want to see if I can find it, because I used to have access to it. I mean, I used to know what it was, but I can't remember. All right, come on. No. I don't want to be quiet for too long, but I'm not finding it right off the bat. But I do know that he has a debate channel, and I will do my due diligence to find it, and then I'll actually post it on my channel, because I don't know if a lot of people know that he has a new channel and that he is posting content. And last that I saw, he was posting content on a fairly regular basis. But I cannot remember what it is off the top of my head. So I will do some more looking, and then I will post that. So PMR Hoop said they mass reported his thumbnail where he had NBA player faces on WWE scene, said it was inciting violence. I actually think I remember hearing that. I mean, that's completely ludicrous to me. And it certainly feels like LeBron's bots or minions had to have gotten involved there and were trying to throw some of their weight around, because that absolutely sounds like Rap Got Reloaded. You nailed it. He said Dart's new channel is called Lights Out Debate. That is the channel. I don't know if I am still subscribed to that. So I have to check. So yeah, I actually am subscribed to it. Yeah, he only has 112 subscribers. So I feel like a lot of people are not aware that he has a new channel, because he used to have way more than that. Pure Power Hoop said, I'm being vague on purpose. Sorry. But yes, it was the players you think it was. Yeah, sometimes better safe than sorry. You can absolutely overstep your bounds on YouTube, and there are consequences. And yeah, I don't want to. I don't duck smoke, but I also don't want my channel deleted. I've put in a shit ton of work, and yeah, I don't want it to go away. So I'm going to ask you guys if you're at all curious, if I decide to start having guests on my lives, my intention, and I made a video about this some time ago, that I just wanted to do an interview. So I would sit down with the guest. I would have 5 scripted questions that I would send them beforehand that they could prepare their answers for. And then I would have 5 unscripted questions that I would ask them. I mean, I would know what questions I was going to ask, but it would be 5 rapid fire questions that they would have to answer just off the cuff and hopefully get some more understanding of not only our basketball knowledge, where our love of basketball came from, our favorite players, our favorite teams, favorite moments in basketball. Uh, would any of you guys have any interest of being on that if it ever comes to fruition? And I can't promise when that will happen, but it's something I have put a lot of thought into. And the reality is, I just need to have the balls to start doing it. And maybe it goes bad, and hey, that's learning experiences. I'd just be curious, would there be any interest? So Vincent Garcia said, "Oh, like I said, I never looked into making a channel, but this stuff of people getting their channel deleted is weak sauce." It is. It's disgusting. And the fact that it can just happen for something as stupid as a thumbnail and their misinterpretation of it inciting violence is ridiculous. So RP Robinson said, whose channel got deleted? We were talking about Dart's old channel. Michael Jordan fans are the best. Geloso said, the real, have you found games from the 60s and 70s? Because I'm trying and they're so hard to find. I'm just curious if you have. Man, they're almost impossible to find, especially full length games. I've had some luck at finding clips, like basically highlights from some of those games. And the unfortunate reality is, I found lots of clips of the same game, and they're even the same clips. So there's just not a lot of footage. So I actually had a pretty in-depth conversation with Wilt Chamberlain Archive on one of my lives because he joined in, which fucking blew my mind. But he was talking about there is footage of those games. It's just no one has access to it. So apparently it's in the NBA vault, but even they don't have access to it. So the problem, my understanding is from what he explained to me, is back then the games weren't broadcast nationally. They were only broadcast locally for the teams that, you know, that were a part of that game. And so all of that video and all of those records are owned by those local channels. Unfortunately, some of those local channels are now gone. However, that didn't just free up the rights to all of that video footage. So it's kind of in this place of limbo. It's in like video purgatory where no one has access to it and they can't display it. Like they can't just put it on a video and upload it somewhere because that would be copyright infringement. and places are concerned with getting sued. So there's all of this footage that probably exists somewhere, but no one has access to it because they can't figure out the, legalese to find out who to buy the access from, who to get the access from. I mean, I'm surprised that after this amount of time that it just hasn't become public domain. So there has to be someone that is continually renewing the copyright license for it. So Vincent Garcia said, isn't there a copyright limitation? There is, or at least there should be. But what we think is happening is someone has to be renewing it, because after a certain amount of time, I think it's after 50 years, that if the license hasn't been renewed, it becomes public domain. It's kind of like Happy Birthday. Like, they couldn't sing it in restaurants to people. They had to come up with their own lame ass versions because somebody kept renewing the copyright license for Happy Birthday. Well, it finally went into public domain. So now you can sing Happy Birthday wherever you want without it being copyrighted, but people still don't do it because I think there's still that fear that knowledge isn't ubiquitous, so people aren't always aware of it. But yeah, someone has to be renewing those licenses because they could make so much money off of it. That's the thing. They could make so much money off of it. If they released like updated, like 4K remasters of these seasons, I would pay an exorbitant amount of money for them. Like more money than I have, because I don't have a lot of money, but I would find a way because I want that. Excuse me. Armando Ruiz said all LeBron footage should be in NBA purgatory. I think it should just be burned. Like, as soon as he retires, every one of those games should just be burned, and every record that he has in the record book should be deleted, and let's just pretend all of that time didn't happen. So this is something that I've always found interesting. One of the best ways that I ever heard somebody describe the NFL Hall of Fame, or like basically what it should take to get in to any Hall of Fame, is, can you tell the story of that sport without mentioning their name? And if we think about it, in 23 years, LeBron has only won 4 championships. I think you can tell the story of the NBA without telling the story of those 4 championships. Therefore, should he be in the Hall of Fame? No. So Geloso said, I've even found interviews of Bill Russell, Wilt Chamberlain, Oscar Robertson, Jerry West, and Kareem. That's all great stuff. I've been fortunate enough to find some of it. Speaking of Oscar Robertson, who, the more that I'm learning about him, it's becoming more difficult for him not to be my favorite player of all time. So I'm reading his book called The Big O, My Life, My Game, My Story. Absolutely fascinating. And I don't know if you guys saw my post. Certainly hope this doesn't sound like a brag or a flex, because it's not, but it was a way of me spoiling myself. So I found an auction online that you could bid on, and if you won the bid, that you would get a personalized autograph from Oscar Robertson. And I was like, oh, okay, this is going to cost me more money than I'm comfortable with. But I did. I bid. And in all honesty, like I said, I don't have a lot of money, but I bid what I was comfortable bidding, and somehow I won. So I now have an autographed illustration of Oscar Robertson that's specifically addressed to me. And I almost hold it in higher regard than any other autograph that I have, partially because it's specifically addressed to me. But yeah, it finally showed up a few days ago, and yeah, I'm gonna have to get it. I'm gonna have to get it autographed. Hey, Wooters, what's going on? Oh, an autographed basketball by Harry Gallatin. That's pretty sweet. I only have one autographed basketball, and it's Dennis Rodman. Still pretty happy about it. It was the year that he was inducted into the Hall of Fame. So yeah, he also signed it, Dennis Rodman, Hall of Fame class 2011. With Woody said Rodman autograph is great. Yeah, with Rodman being my favorite player, I have a number of his autographs. I have his rookie card autographed. Gem Mint 10 sealed. That's one of my prized possessions. I have 2 autographed jerseys. And I will say, for when I hit 1,000 subscribers, I will be doing a giveaway for an autographed Dennis Rodman jersey. So I'm not going to ask people to like and subscribe. But if you want a chance to win an autographed Rodman jersey, tell people to like and subscribe. Because when I hit 1,000 subscribers, that will be available to someone. Vince Garcia said, I got Rodman's autograph on his book. I do have his book. He was at Gurney Mills Mall dressed up in his white dress and all. That was a weird day. So I'm a weird motherfucker. And I don't even give a fuck what people think. I have what I have and I like what I like. I have a number of Dennis Rodman memorabilia. And one of the things that I had to buy when I saw it is, I guess you could just say it's a fucking doll, but it's a doll of Dennis Rodman in his wedding dress. Like that day that he dressed up as a wedding dress, apparently they made a doll out of it. So yeah, I have that. I wish I had it autographed. Oh, sorry guys. I was going to say my brother sent me a text. I wanted to get back to him because he is out of town and I wanted to make sure he's not dead. Yeah, I have a ridiculous amount of NBA memorabilia. It's just one of those things that I love surrounding me. And it's difficult because I want to talk about it, but I don't ever want to feel like I'm trying to brag or like, oh, hey, look at all this cool shit that I have. That would never be my intention with it. But like, I can't really share it with anybody else because most people in my life don't give a shit about basketball, especially old basketball. So they don't care. but then I'm reluctant to talk about it a lot on my channel because I don't want to sound like an asshole. So I kind of feel like I can't win. Shadow 188, what's going on? Thanks for hopping in. I appreciate it. My favorite name for LeBron is actually the name that I gave him, and I've seen it catching on a little bit. I hope it catches on more. Is -23 the anti-Jordan? Shadow 188 says, "What's good from Vancouver, Canada?" You know, I've only been to Vancouver, Canada one time. It was when I was 19 and it was to get shit faced drunk, and I have almost no recollection of it, but I did have a good time. JXY said the stuff Rodman did was an anomaly in the era. These players today wear purses, fingernail polish, and dresses. See, one of the things that makes Rodman my favorite player is he is unapologetically himself. He wanted to dye his hair, fuck you, he was going to do it. He wanted to wear a fucking wedding dress, fuck you, he was going to do it. All of the things that he wanted to do, he was going to do, and he didn't give a shit what you thought about him. It didn't change who he was going to be, how he was going to present himself. And that's just how I've always been through my entire life. Like, it's funny now, you know, I have 6 tattoos. It's no big fucking deal. But when I got them 36 years ago, it was a big fucking deal. RP Robinson said, "Say what you want about Rodman, but he had Carmen Electra." There you go. I was going to say, talk shit all you want, but I guarantee he banged more hot women than you or me or us combined. He did have a thing with Madonna for a while too. She's actually one of the ones that taught him, be who the fuck you want to be. Who cares if they like it or not? You know what's funny? I actually just found out that Dennis Rodman is going to be inducted into the Wrestling Hall of Fame. And I'm going to have to buy some of that shit too, because I just like him. Rap God said Jordan had all the beautiful women like Robin Givens, Janet Jackson, etc. Absolutely. RP Robinson said, "Ha, New World Order, Rodman." Yep. I was going to say, I'm going to have to find, I'm sure that he'll autograph something from his NWO time, and I'm all for it. I was going to say, I want to see it. JXY said, "Remember Carl Malone wrestling?" I actually don't. I'm gonna have to look that up because no, I don't think I ever saw that. That'd be crazy though, because he's a big, strong motherfucker. So I imagine he probably did it pretty well. I'm gonna check that out. Rap Guy Reloaded said, "Was Hulk Hogan your favorite wrestler?" He was not. My favorite wrestler actually wasn't WWF or what's WWE now. My favorite wrestler was Sting, which I think was what not WCW. I can't remember what the fuck it used to be. Yeah, WCW. Yeah, Sting was always my favorite wrestler. Road Warriors were always my favorite tag team. Uh, I liked a lot of wrestlers. I was a huge fan of Ultimate Warrior, Macho Man Randy Savage, Ricky the Dragon Steamboat. I had a huge, yeah. I got out of wrestling after a while, but I was a big fan. Shadow 188 said DDP and Malone won the match. It's hilarious and actually wasn't too bad. I'm gonna watch it. Well, that's how I see. I always have to remember. Ed Armando Ruiz said Ultimate Warrior Sting's old tag team partner. That's actually how I came to know of Ultimate Warrior, because I was a fan of Sting, and then I saw them wrestling together, and I was like, "Oh shit!" I've actually been trying to get back into wrestling. I went to Monday Night Raw. Fuck, it was probably like 5, 6 months ago now. But went to go see it live. That was pretty cool. My brother is really into wrestling. So when we get a chance, we do like to go. But yeah, I was a big fan of wrestling. Joseph said the real, if Dennis Rodman played in today's era, you think LeBron would let Dennis cover him on defense? I mean, I don't think he'd have a fucking choice. They didn't call Dennis Rodman the worm for, on accident. He'd be in LeBron's ass and he would shut him down. The only way I genuinely believe that LeBron would score any points against Rodman is if they played in this modern era, and it would be because Rodman would probably foul out in the first quarter. If they played in the 80s rules, like Bad Boy Pistons, where Rodman could basically do whatever the fuck he wanted and they weren't going to call fouls on him for it, LeBron would score 0 points. Absolutely 0 points. Yeah, JXY said WWF is like the NBA. It ain't the same. It's not. It's a significantly lesser product. I mean, I'll say it's still more entertaining than the NBA and probably less scripted. RP said, what's crazy about basketball today is they don't let the defender hand check, but the offensive player can run people over, swing his arm, and push the defender. Absolutely. They basically just gave hand checking to the offense instead of the defense. Joseph said, word on the street was back then Dennis used to try Scottie Pippen like a bitch. I don't know if that's true, but that's what the word was back then. I guarantee that's true. I was going to say, like, I don't know if there's video evidence of it, but there are definitely rumors, and they're, pretty substantiated, that Pippen used to tell Jordan to ease up if they were on opposing teams in practice, because Jordan would practice like it's game 7 of the finals and he'll be fucked if he's going to lose, and Pippen would just half-ass it. Shadow 188 said, "All I know is we are watching the fall of LeBron James." Man, I can only hope. I can only hope that's true. JXY said Oakley used to punk Scotty. He did. He absolutely did. Say what you want about Oakley. I mean, he obviously was not a fantastic player, which is, which is why he got traded. But he didn't take shit. I was going to say he was going to, put people in their place if they needed to be put in their place. Vincent Garcia said they seriously need to have a lockout and just restructure these current players' contracts. The sad thing is I don't even necessarily know, excuse me, if that would do it. I think the only way to potentially fix all of the problems in the NBA is first you have to start with the referees. You need to completely clear out every single referee that's ever officiated in the NBA, bring in entirely new referees, and train them to call the game by the book. And consistency across the board. It doesn't matter the team that's playing, the player that's playing, fouls are fouls, travels are travels. Exactly the same across the board. Because if we don't change the officiating, the players, quite frankly, don't even matter. You could bring in prime Michael Jordan right now. It's not going to make a difference because depending on who he's playing, he's just going to foul out of the game. Rap God said it's too many field refs in the NBA, which makes zero sense. I don't necessarily get that either. The reality is, I wouldn't give a shit if they did their job the way they're supposed to do their job. Now, they're probably not incentivized to do their job properly. I mean, I honestly believe part of the reason why they brought the headsets in is so those referees could be coached on what to call and what not to call while they're on the floor. Because 99% of this shit happens right in front of them. There has to be somebody saying, don't call that, in their ear, saying, don't call that. That's fine. We're going to let that go. RP said, I'll be honest, it's difficult to trust sports, especially the NBA, because of their ties to gambling. It is 100%. You, excuse me, you can't trust anything that they say or do, especially because it's all about money now. I guarantee that if there are any voices in those headsets, that Vegas is in there also saying, yeah, we're going to allow that because if we don't, it's going to affect the spread or it's going to affect the over under, whatever. I don't really gamble, so I don't necessarily know the vernacular or even how to fucking do it, but I guarantee that they have a say in it. And that's what's fucked up is you can't have a real sports league if gambling is involved. It will always be compromised without question. Because the money's more important than the game, the money's more important than the players, the money is more important than the trophies or the accolades. So you can't trust any of it. JXY said, I really do think if the NBA gives these players performative contracts and change the officiating and boost the physicality, the game will change. I completely agree. And I think it has to be those exact three things. Because without the officiating, it doesn't matter. With guaranteed contracts, you're not going to negate issues like load management or fake injuries. And if they don't bring back the physicality of the game, the fans still aren't going to care. So it has to be all three of those things. RB said, I think a lot of people are into it. Well, you can gamble on how many rebounds, points, everything. So the players themselves gamble. And you know they are. And I'm not surprised that we haven't heard about all of these gambling rings and everything that, some people have already been indicted on, because I think it permeates through the entire league. I don't think it's one or two players. I think it's almost every player. And so they're either going to do one of two things. They're going to sweep it under the rug and pretend like it never happened. And with the majority of their fan base having the attention span of fucking gnats, it will. It will just eventually disappear because they keep coming out with all of these lies, all of these narratives, all of this propaganda, and it dilutes people's attention from the actual problems. So the investigation that the FBI is running, whether they'll end up doing anything about it, who the fuck knows? But also, they're not going to be able to hold every player accountable. So then they're going to have to pick and choose. It probably goes all the way up to the coaches, the owners, throughout the entire infrastructure of the NBA. So, like, unless they're going to burn it all to the ground and start over, I don't know if it's going to make any difference. Blaming one or two players, doesn't solve the problem. They have to do something, because not only are the players on the court not competitive, the game itself isn't competitive, and the fans just don't care. I don't know if PMR Hoops is still here, but that's one of the videos that I'm waiting for him to make, is talking about how players are more incentivized to not play than they are to play. I was going to say that's definitely a rabbit hole that I want to go down, because I think it's going to be fucked up. And the more light that's shed on it, the darker and deeper it's going to get. And I want to know about it. Shadow 188 said LeBron has no era. He's just planted himself and cried loud for him to have an era. He doesn't have an era. I don't know. It was one of those Goat James Kingdom fucks that was in the live stream with AOH and Sports and Fitness Rants. And he said something about LeBron owns Curry. And I was like, how the fuck does a guy who's 1-3 own another player? They don't. JXY said even the commentators are in on pushing their gambling agenda. Bob Costas wasn't talking about no damn prize picks comparing players' stats on national TV. He wasn't, because he wasn't on the fucking take. Yeah, it's ridiculous. Jolosa said Curry owns LeBron 3-1 on LeBron. Come on, really? That's what I was saying. I was like, you're making an argument that proves or disproves what you're saying? Like, come on. RP said 4 championships in 23 years while being called the GM on Peds, but is the greatest. No handle, no three, no mid range, no post game. He doesn't have anything. There's literally nothing about his game or his career that dictates all-time great, let alone greatest of all time. There's nothing. I was hoping when I made that video called "You Call Us Haters, but I Ask Where Is Your Love" that one of his fanboys would get in and talk about the ways that they love LeBron. Not one comment. Especially because I called him out. I said, you don't watch his games, you don't buy his shoes, you don't watch his movies. The only place that you stand up for or support him is in YouTube comment sections. I was like, that's fucking embarrassing. But again, they didn't say anything. They didn't have any comments for that. That's the thing that I think is so funny about fanboys, though, is they are the most weak, fragile motherfuckers in the world. Because anytime I call them out, it's crickets. RP said, Rap God Reloaded, he is a fraud, and they fool the people that don't know any better, that just see highlights and social media says he's great, so they believe it. Their opinions are given to them. That's exactly what it is. That was another thing that I called him out on, is you fuckers always say the exact same thing. Not even just in my comments, in everybody's comments. They don't have an original thought amongst all of them. And then they can't say you were wrong, you know, you're misrepresenting data or you're not factually accurate. They can't say that because none of us are. We're always showing the receipts to back up what we say. It's just they don't like it, which is why they have to immediately result to you're a hater or you don't know the game or personal attacks. Joseph said, you won't catch me dead with LeBron James shoes on. Never, hell no. I agree. And that's another one of the things that I pointed out in that video. I said, I own 22 pairs of Jordans. I don't own any LeBrons, and I never will. I own Kobe's. I own some Rodman shoes. I own some Pippen shoes. I even own a pair of Kyrie shoes. Will never own a pair of LeBron shoes. JXY said even LeBron don't wear LeBrons. What's funny is somebody pointed that out that in one of my thumbnails that LeBron was wearing Jordans. And that's exactly what I said. I was like, LeBron doesn't wear LeBrons. Come on. Even he doesn't like his shoes. PMR Hoops, I meant to tell you, I was going to say, I like that name. It's catchy as hell. Rap God says, Siberius, you own a pair of Larry Bird shoes. You know, I don't. if I'm remembering correctly, Bird rolled with Converse, and they're fucking expensive. Like I have a few pair of expensive Jordans and some SB Dunks. Yeah, Bird's shoes are not cheap anymore. They are expensive, and I'd like to. I really would like to. The only Larry Bird thing that I own, and well, I mean, I'm not embarrassed to say, uh, is an autographed picture of Bird versus Magic, and it's signed by Larry Bird and Magic Johnson. That's the only Larry Bird merch that I own. RP said, "How can the best all-around player not be able to shoot free throws or have a mid-range or dribble or rebound, but is the best all-around player? Insanity." I made a video specifically about that. I don't know if you guys saw it, but first of all, best all-around player is a very ambiguous term. You either need to define it or shut the fuck up. But they constantly love to say that Michael Jordan is the best player all time, but LeBron is the best all around player. And I'm like, how the fuck is that possible? Given that the majority of the shit that he does, he doesn't do at even a mediocre level, let alone at a high level. Shadow 188 says Siberia's careful with that a Johnny guy. He's a snake, and Lamont is just as greasy. Please be careful if you go toe to toe with these guys. The reality is, I won't ever engage with them ever. I do not engage with fanboys on my channel in any way. I have never responded. Well, actually, that's not true. At the very beginning, I responded to one of their comments and shut them the fuck down, and then they never responded. Now they do not get a voice on my channel. Period. I removed their, well, actually, no, that's not true. I screenshot their comment, then I remove it and I put it in my file for my next fanboy says what video. I do not ever engage with them. It has been made aware to me that FYF and Goat James Kingdom are now aware of my channel because apparently people shared videos with them, which explains why they're all up in my comment section now. But the reality is, yeah, they don't get a voice there at all. And they can try to come at me if they want, but the reality is, A, you don't want to fuck with me. People don't know the people that I know. And secondly, I don't have anything. What are you going to take from me? But I don't take people lightly. I don't take threats lightly. I don't take sleazy people lightly. So no, I will always be careful. RP said semantics is giving his slow fans a slogan. It is. I mean, that's literally why they invented that term. If he can't win the greatest of all time moniker, they have to create a different one that holds no meaning or validity to anyone. Shadow 188 said, Siberius, I saw your name there and it was a shock. I mean, the reality is, like, I do enough content about LeBron and get enough of a response from people. It was only a matter of time. I was going to say, I imagine that I'm probably on their fucking hit list. Uh, I mean, I found it strangely validating. You know, if you don't have fanboys in your comments crying about, your takes and your perspective, then you're probably not doing a good job. PMR Hoop says, "Where was your name?" Apparently, it was on FYF's channel or Goat James Kingdom channel. So yeah, apparently I am on their hit list. There's one fuck in particular. He just will not stop. He will not stop. I was going to, and I still will, put one of his most recent comments. I actually think it was from today when I posted the "I ain't afraid of no ghost" posts with Michael Jordan dressed up as a ghost and LeBron hiding. And this jackass said in the comments under that post that Jordan retired as soon as he saw LeBron was drafted. And I was like, I don't respond to them. I just snapshotted his comment, removed it, but I was immediately thinking, if you genuinely believe that, you may be the most delusional fuck I've ever met in my life. Shadow188 said, "I saw his name there in the comment section on one of their videos and on a live stream claimed Siberius was crying about LeBron." That's, it's funny because I heard that exact same thing, that I was crying about LeBron. Like, what? I don't even know what the fuck they're talking about. Like, whatever. Vincent Garcia said, "Not to get political, but when that alternative fact shit started being a thing, I just lost faith in anything true being upheld." Absolutely. I don't ever really like to get political on here because I don't give a fuck myself. But that's absolutely true. As soon as alternative facts and fake news came out, I was like, well, there goes truth. Rap God says they're a cult. I wouldn't engage with them. And that's why I don't, because they are a cult. They have that same brainwashed mentality that, I mean, they clearly have like doctrine that they're instructed to follow because they all literally say the same shit. And like, that's the kind of thing that you see in a cult is you've been indoctrinated with misinformation and you have to repeat it until there's no personal thought left. There's no critical thinking. There's no personal accountability on any level. It's just read, regurgitate, read, regurgitate, read, regurgitate. That's it. There's never new information. Arby said, "The thing is, they don't function on facts. 4 championships in 23 years, 1 scoring title in 23 years, no rebound title, no steal title, but he's the best player ever." I mean, that's the thing, is their entire argument is groundless. It's not fundamentally sound. Like, that's the thing that they don't understand is because excuse me, because Jordan's career wasn't manufactured, it can withstand scrutiny. You can look at it under a microscope and it's more impressive, not less impressive. While with LeBron's record, if you look at it with even a modicum of scrutiny or context, it immediately falls apart. It's not substantiated in reason or logic or fact. It's emotion based. I also love, I even had a fanboy say in my comments, Jordan fans never critique him. And I'm like, I made a fucking video critiquing him. So I was like, what are you talking about? Shadow 188 said, I've shut down a lot of Goat James Kingdom arguments. And based on the interactions, everything you're saying, Siberius, is facts. Goat James Kingdom on live stream said, you can leave your child with LeBron drunk on a stream. Hard pass. It's crazy, man. It doesn't make any fucking sense at all. That's another reason why I refuse to have any type of interactions with them. Is it's never a debate. There is no debate. They stand on the same fucking nonsense and you can't deviate them from that. If you remove longevity from the conversation, if you say you cannot use longevity in this debate, if you mention longevity, you lose. There is nothing else. I showed in one of my videos, if you look at the length of Jordan's career and compare it to LeBron's at that same length, Jordan outscored him by a mile. If you take the length of Dennis Rodman's career and compare it to LeBron's career within that same time frame, Rodman absolutely dwarfs him in rebounds. And the same thing with Magic and assists, the same thing with Stockton and steals. Like, he doesn't have a valid argument to stand on. It's all bullshit. RP said, but that is the slogan for the slow fans. When in the history of sports was longevity being mediocre been considered as the greatest? It never has. They had to create that narrative and they had to turn longevity into greatness because there's no other argument to even be made. If you remove longevity as an argument, which it should never have been an argument in the first place, what else do you have to stand on? I mean, winning a championship 18% of your career, well, Jordan's is 40%. So you're not even half the man that he is. And when you don't win this year, it's going to drop to 17%. That's not dominating anything. Also, someone, while in your era, won 3 championships off of you, that's not dominating. Like, what the fuck are you people talking about? That's why I don't engage in conversation, because excuse me, A, there's no conversation to be had, and arguing with an idiot is like trying to stab somebody with a brick. It's pointless. Idiots will bring you down to their level and beat you with experience, and I don't allow that to happen. Not get beat. If I get beat, I get beat. That's fine. But I'm not going to debate people for anything. PMR Hoop said, just seems odd to be spending all their time commenting in other smaller channels they disagree with. male Swifties. That's exactly what they are. They're male Swifties. You can't say anything negative about them, even if it is 100% substantiated. They can't hear it. They won't see it. They'll never acknowledge it. It's fucking ridiculous. Shadow 188, I appreciate you stepping in, man. I was gonna say I hope to see you in the next live as well. Armando Ruiz said one of the most awkward interactions I've had recently was running into a fanboy that was as old as me, 47. I immediately shut down and lost any ounce of respect I had for that individual. How the fuck could you respect them, especially at 47? Like, that's old enough to know better. That's old enough to have seen plenty of real, actual basketball that you would have to be disgusted by anything that happens on the court now. Vince Garcia said, I've never lost an argument. I either win or I'm enlightened to a new way of thinking. I agree. And if you don't have the ability to admit when you were wrong, or if you're so insistent that you're right about everything, how the fuck can you grow then? People have more insight than you. They have different experiences than you. I'd be a fool to say I'm right all the time. I had somebody call out one of my comments today on one of my videos. I responded, I articulated my point, and I said, I understand your point, but I stand on mine. I'm not going to change it because I didn't think that I should. But I heard what he had to say. Rap God said, Chilltown is a huge LeBron lover catering to the younger audience. I think that's what a huge part of it is they're literally catering to the younger audience. And the problem with the younger audience, and I don't just blame them. I mean, the reality is some of the skills that they're lacking are skills that you have to be taught, and they're not being taught. They're not being taught by their parents. They're not being taught by the education system. They're not being taught by anyone. They've literally been taught, do what I say. And given that the media, especially sports media, is completely full of shit and you can't take anything they say without a gigantic grain of salt, they're just being brainwashed. Now, at a certain point, it falls on you. You can't blame your parents or society or the education system. It's up to you to educate yourself, to learn critical thinking on your own if you haven't been taught it. But they're literally brainwashed. They can't do anything but just repeat. They hear, they repeat. They hear, they repeat. .42 in the second quarter. LeBron retired, said they're better without you. It is sad. It's also incredibly true. When any team doesn't have to play in the system, it opens up options. It opens up creativity. It allows other players opportunities to shine because they're not constantly having to worry about get the ball, feed the ball to LeBron, get the ball, feed the ball to LeBron. or get out of the way so he can get the rebound. Get hoping so he can make a pass that will be registered as an assist. Rob God said sometimes it's best to learn outside the school system. That's what I did. That's literally the story of my life. The last grade that I completed was 9th grade. And then I went and got my GED so I would have some form of document that I could hand people. And since then, I've literally just been educating myself, reading books, studying online, doing anything that I can to absorb knowledge and improve myself, especially after my fucking brain injuries. Like, I've had to put in an inordinate amount of work just so I can sound like somebody that doesn't have fucking brain injuries. Because I'll be fucked if I let that happen. Joseph said 47-42, Thunder's on top. Now it's a good game. It's going to be something. I mean, the reality is, I guarantee if LeBron was in that game, it would not be that close. RP said that's another thing. They make up fake stats. They count things as assists that aren't. The NBA cooks the books. In the future, these stats will be fake and people will believe them. That's the biggest problem. Is context is erased with history. So in 20 years, if there hasn't been an entirely dramatic shift in the NBA, people are going to look at the record books and they're going to think LeBron is a god unless there's somebody that can deviate that course, because otherwise they just look at the numbers and believe it for what it is. I mean, I have to be honest, I am completely guilty of viewing Wilt Chamberlain in the exact same way that I view LeBron, because I cannot see video representation of his deeds. It makes me just think, well, he couldn't win championships, or at least not a lot of them. He didn't seem to dominate anything except the box score. Was he just LeBron 1.0 and LeBron is LeBron 2.0? So I'm guilty of being too critically thinking, because I genuinely believe that Wilt Chamberlain was a great player. But I don't have the video evidence to back it up. College 81, what's going on? So sometimes it's hard for me. I don't want to just believe what people say, because before I started watching the NBA again, I heard a lot of people talk about how great LeBron was. And I didn't just naturally bite into it, because that's just not who I am. I tried to remain neutral to it until I saw it for myself. And then within the first game of watching him, I was like, I don't know what the fuck you people are talking about. This isn't greatness. But that's what I had heard. And that's all that I've heard about Wilt Chamberlain, is he was fantastic. He dominated. And I'm like, he didn't dominate chips. So what? He dominated the stat sheet? Maybe that's not the case. But the reality is, I don't know. Vincent Garcia said, well, like AOH did a breakdown of his last triple-double and half his assists weren't even legit. If they're going to change how they mark assists, we'll go back and credit the retired players with new rule. I agree. I absolutely agree. But the problem is, like, I'd rather they not do it that way. I would rather they follow the rule book and take away all of the assists from the players that didn't actually get them. Uncut Hoops did a video because somebody was claiming to him that John Stockton's assists were inflated. So I think he said he went through 5 games and counted every one of his assists. And he actually found that Stockton's assists were undervalued, not overvalued. Like he actually counted that he had more assists than he actually had. And then he counted them as how many assists would he have if they were counting assists as today? And his number, I mean, I don't think Stockton's assist or steal record are ever going to be beaten. But if you credited him with every assist as it would be today, I mean, he would probably have 5,000 more assists for his career. And then it would be completely unattainable. I mean, I already don't think that it is. Stockton is my favorite point guard of all time. I would never be brash enough to say he's the best point guard of all time because I absolutely think that that falls on Magic. However, one thing that I have to fault Magic for, because if I'm going to hold LeBron to that standard, I have to hold everyone to that standard. Magic never played 82 games. And to me, that's a black mark on his career. Now, I think he made up for that with his play on the court. RP said a lot of these guys aren't looking for the truth. They're looking for opinions that confirm what they already believe. I completely agree. I have a hard time saying that somebody is the best ever when there were a number of occasions that their team likely needed them and they weren't there. So when Stockton played all 82 games 16 times, and then in one of the seasons that was cut short because of the player strike, he still played all 52 games or how many games were available that season. So 17 times in his career, he played the maximum amount of games that he could, obviously taking into consideration how far you make it in the playoffs. But that's a big deal to me. So yeah, hard to say, but yeah, Stockton is absolutely one of my favorite players. But I won't say that he's the best point guard because I don't think that he was. Maybe if he had played on a team that wasn't led by Malone. Joseph says 53-46 Thunder on top. I mean, I think the reality is we all know that the Thunder are going to win. I think without LeBron in the game, it's a lot closer than it would be if he was in the game. I think that's without question. Absolutely without question. Anyway, guys, I actually just realized that I have been doing this for over 2 hours. Actually didn't quite intend for it to be this long. But I'm glad it was. I was going to say I certainly had a hell of a good time, and that's why I didn't want to stop. But I am going to now because I need to fucking eat. So I am going to call this a quit. I absolutely appreciate all of you guys hanging out and conversing with me. These lives have been a great time, and I hope as I gain proficiency in them that they'll just get better. And hopefully, we can start doing some of these interviews or having some type of live interactions where people can join the live. But I still haven't figured that shit out yet. But I promise I will. So I will catch you guys in the next one. And thanks for hanging out.